G'day, I'm Hooley, and today I'm going to share with you my foolproof 3-step method to induct new team members into your high-performing team. Stay with me. G'day, I'm Hooley from Hooley Consulting, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can follow all the videos that I've got. Lots of good content coming. Also, any of the documents that I'm using in today's presentation will be available for download. So if you go to the comment section of this video, you'll see you'll be able to download these documents and use them as templates. So let's walk through, we'll get straight into this. Let's walk through it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to induct new team members into your high-performing team. Now, the same framework can be used to actually upskill existing team members. So if you've got existing team members that aren't performing to your expectations, we can use this same framework to upskill those. So what I'm going to do is walk through that with you today. So I'm going to share my screen now, so let's have a look at it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a template of the property manager position descriptions. So this is not the actual position description. What I've done is I've pulled the content out of the position descriptions. So for me, there's 3 here. I've put all 3 on this template for you. And again, it's available for download in the comment section, just to show you, I guess, the components of what we're going to work with today. So if you look at the left-hand side here, you'll see there's the competency. So what we've done is we've listed down the left-hand side all the competence there are to be a property manager. Now, this is just a caption on this screen. It kind of goes on another page after this as well. But you'll see we've got there leasing and marketing, processing applications, tenant induction. I won't go through them all, but it is actually just identifying all the competencies, and they should be represented in your position description nearly word for word as they are in this document. Now, you'll see in the description, which is the second column along, it's basically a quick description of that particular task and what it needs to do. And then if you go into the next 3 columns, I've split it up between junior property manager, and senior property manager. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through the property manager one, the one in the middle this morning. And the idea is you use your position description to help induct and train new team members. And I'll show you kind of how we're going to do that, and we'll walk through that process. But this is basically, your property manager should be given this when they start with your business, or if it's an existing property manager that's not performing as you expect, introducing this in. Now, I would encourage you as a high-performing team that you're doing this process with each of your property managers every month. So let's walk through the next step of this. So what we do is we have what's called a capability assessment. And what I've done here is I've pulled, remember the first column, the competency, I've taken all the competencies from the left-hand side and I've moved them into this document. And then I've moved the description in just to obviously get an idea on what this is about. And then I've moved the property management tasks in here as well. And you can see in that column, I've got all the things that you need to learn as a property manager and be competent in. You'll see the second last column on the right there, I have an assessment score. So what it is I'm going to sit down with this particular property manager. I'm going to go through and say, well, what is your capability of each of these tasks or these competencies? And I've pretended in this scenario that this is only a new property manager to the business, so their competency levels are relatively low. So you'll see I've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So 1 obviously being the lowest and 5 being the highest score. So ideally, when you're finishing this process, you want them to all be 5s down this column, so which means that they're completely competent in what they're doing. You'll see also what I've done on the right hand side is I've put a priority score in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize these tasks for training. So we're going to extend this over a 12-week program, which I'm also going to show you in a sec. And we want to prioritize over the 12 weeks which tasks are going to be first. So if you've already got 5s, if you're doing this capability system and you have 5s in some of these, you can just cross them off. You don't need to do them because they're already capable in those areas. If you don't have any 5, what you're going to do is either select items that you think are the most important that they should learn first. So in this particular instance, this is a new property manager. So I may select some of the basic stuff in here, and you'll see I've got priority 1 and 2, tenant processing applications and tenant induction. So I've said for a new property manager, these are the simple things that you need to learn really quickly to hit the ground running. And then I go through and you'll see 3 is understanding general repairs, 4 is understanding leasing and marketing. But this is entirely up to you how you do this priority. It may vary on your business, and it'll vary particularly on the person, because that person may be responsible for varying different parts of the business. So the priority to learn some of those skills might be greater in other areas. So you need to dictate that priority yourself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move this into a training plan, and I'll show you how to do that. But first I want to map out what a capability looks like, just to give you a bit of an understanding. So we often call this capability mapping, and the idea is we take all the things that we had in the position description, all the competency tasks in the position description, and then we map them out. So obviously 5 is the outer circle. So what we want is we want this whole screen to be blue. And you'll see from the competency example that we only had really 1s and 2s. So you see there's still very much just a little blue dot in the middle. So what we're going to do is, as we go through this and the property manager starts learning and building up their competencies, you'll see the map will change and it'll start filling out. So ideally we want this competency map to be as big as we can. Now, you don't need to build these competency maps. I've really just put them on here as an example for you, so you can kind of see how these property managers will upskill and train out into those areas. So, but by all means, if you wanted to create these, they're very easy to create. It's just a radar map in Excel. If you wanted to kind of use this as a presentation for your property managers to show them how they are improving over time, because it is a really good visual. Rightio. So the third step here is the training and induction plan. So this is where all the core work is done. The first two is really just getting the assessment organized, using the position description, copying it into that capability document, capability assessment document, and using that just to assess where they are. But all the heavy work is done here. So I've picked a 3-month cycle because I believe that onboarding a team member takes about 3 months to do properly. Now, again, it depends on how new they are to the business and how well they're performing. So if you're doing this on an existing team member, there might only be 3 or 4 things in here that they're probably not doing well, which means you can probably do it over a few weeks. If they are a new team member, then obviously it's a full process and it may take up to 3 months or 12 weeks. Let's use this example as 12 weeks and I'll show you what I've done here. So what we've done in the induction plan is we've put down the left hand side again, we've put all our competencies down there. And you'll see I've moved the priorities from our previous document and I've now put them in this document. You can reorder if you like this document to have it all in priority, entirely up to you how you want to work this document. But then what you'll see is I've allocated a training buddy to every single item in here, and then I've plotted them out over a 12-week period. So you'll see in week 1 I had them doing processing applications and tenant inductions, and I had them doing it with Sophie. So what I do is I encourage you in your business to have champions in the business. And this is 2 reasons. Is one, that those people are on the tools every day. So if you pick someone, so in this example, Sophie is really good at processing applications and preparing tenant inductions. So we want to pick Sophie out of the business and teach her how to train this new staff member. Often managers, they step in and do the training, but often managers aren't close enough to the task to really train them properly. But also managers have other things to do, and it helps to have team members help induct new team members or even underperforming team members to upskill them in the business. It also shows those particular team members that you have confidence, that they have the benchmark in your business. So you're saying to Sophie, you have the benchmark standard for processing applications and doing tenant inductions in the business. It also then allows that person to have a go-to person. So later on down the track when training is finished, if this person's got any questions about tenant inductions or processing applications, they can go back to Sophie. It gives them a point of contact in the business and helps start create relationships there. And you'll see in week 2, we started on general repairs, and that kind of went over a 2-week period, and we've got that with Mark. So again, we've said, well, Mark is the guy to go to for doing repairs. He's really good at it. He's the benchmark for our business. And again, that creates a go-to person for this new person to go back to Mark. Or if it is an existing team member that you're trying to upskill, it then creates a go-to person for them to go back to if they've got any future questions as time goes on. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to leverage the team to help you upskill these people using the existing knowledge that's already in the business to make it much easier on you and much easier on your team. So what you would do is you keep this, and the key to this document is you create this document with the team member in question. And you two need to be accountable to each other, okay? Plus the people that are involved. So I would share this document with those people, with Mark and Sophie and Ross that are involved in this document. Share that with them so they understand that they're part of this process. But you must keep each other accountable. So as a leader, you must make sure that this is executed each week. But also, it's often the leaders that fall back on this. So when you're rolling out framework like this, it's often the leaders that don't follow up and ensure this is done. Particularly if you're one of the people that is doing part of this training as a leader, so other things come up and you miss it maybe. So you need to allow the new staff members or the people that you're training, the existing staff members that you're training, to come to you and call you out on that and say, hey, boss, we were going to do some training this week and we didn't do it. So it needs to really be very flexible from both sides. So that's the important thing about executing on this document. It's easy to do the document up, but how easy is it to execute on it? And it can only do that if you allow staff members the autonomy to call you and the trainers out to make sure that it is actually done. So that's what the training and the induction plan looks like. So that's the 3-step plan. It's going through basically the position description and highlighting the competency areas, moving that into an assessment document so then you can actually assess the competencies out of 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And then of course moving it into this training and induction plan so that you actually have an ongoing plan for 12 weeks. If you don't plan it out like this, what I find in many cases is it just doesn't happen. So you need to document it, you need to share it with everyone, and that keeps everyone accountable to the plan. So this is foolproof, it's easy, it's literally one of the easiest training induction programs I've ever come across. And it is easy to roll into your business just with these 3 documents. So I've shared these with you, so don't forget you can download all these documents. I've put them in a PDF. If you go into the comments column, you can download them. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get future content as it's coming through, and also hit the bell notification button. I'm Adam Hooley, and good luck with your high-performing team. If you've got any questions, don't forget to reach out to adamhooley.com. Thank you.